Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Monday, it's July 1st. It is 2024. We have a 3-game baseball slate to talk about here on today's podcast. Recording solo because it's so late and was waiting for Plate IQ, was working on some back-end stuff for some NASCAR issues that I had with my practice data sheet. So, yeah, I was waiting for Plate IQ because I was like, hey, it's a 3-game slate. Gonna run it solo, might as well wait for Plate IQ to come up, and that way I can show off one of the tools that I absolutely love here at RotoGrinders. So, hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday morning, and I hope everyone had a great weekend. And let's talk some baseball. 3 games, not a lot to talk about today, but let's see what we can figure out how we want to approach this slate. Houston at Toronto, 8.5 total. Houston, a 144 favorite. We got Brown against Rodriguez. Hunter Brown has been phenomenal recently. You know, we've talked about him a lot. 29.8% strikeouts over the last month. Walk rate has come down. His WOBA is way down. Swinging strike rate is up. Whiff rate is up. Everything that we like to see just have been fantastic. I think that this is a really good spot for Brown. And I mean, it's a tough matchup against Toronto, but it's a 3-game slate, and he's one of the most talented pitchers on the slate. So he's so good against righties as well. And this is a very right-handed heavy lineup. We're probably only looking at 3 lefties with Horwitz, Varsho, and Barger. So 6 righties is going to be a huge bump for him, even with the tough strikeout matchup. I think that Brown is one of 3 pitchers on the slate that I think you can play. Rodriguez on the other side. I mean, Rodriguez continues to struggle. You know, it's been a rough go here so far. Only through an inning and a third last time out. Struggled with some walks. Really kind of just struggled against Cleveland in general. Only threw 52 pitches and really just, like I said, really struggled in that outing. So that was the first start back in over a month for Rodriguez, and it was not a good welcome back. And now he gets Houston, one of the best offenses in baseball. Not going to be playing Rodriguez in this spot. And Houston is a team that I really like. You know, obviously, Yordan Alvarez, just a fantastic hitter against right-handed pitching. So absolutely love him. If Salazar catches, he's a cheap option at catcher. Honestly, I didn't even look at his price, but I assumed, yeah, he's 2,200. So if he catches or DHs or plays somewhere, you know, obviously we got some upside here with him at 2,200. Bregman, Altuve, Diaz, all in play. Houston stack very much in play. Really interesting pivot off of the Coors game, where we're going to like the bats in the Coors game. Chat saying blank hats have been regular. It's a Hattie B's hat. It's not a blank hat. Hattie B's got to get that hot chicken when in Nashville. All right, the Toronto Bats. I mean, again, they're going to be really right-handed heavy against Brown, and he's been pitching great. When he has struggled this year, it has definitely been more with lefties than righties. But overall, I mean, leverage would be what you're playing Toronto stacks for today, is just a leverage stack. Not my favorite stack. I'll probably play a single entry team today. Like, it's a 3-game slate. It starts at 3:00 in the afternoon on the East Coast. So probably end up playing like a single entry team. And I think that I think that, man, I just really even like a 3 entry max, I don't think I'd get to Toronto today. I'd have to be MMEing to get to Toronto Bats today. Mets at Washington, 8.5 total pick'em game. David Peterson against Mackenzie Gore. We'll start here with Peterson. Peterson's strikeouts have been way down. You know, this season he's only made 5 starts, but he has a 16.5% K rate. He's struggled with walks a little bit. So last time out against the Yankees, we saw some strikeouts. The time before that, we saw some strikeouts against Texas. This team doesn't strike out against left-handed pitching. They make a lot of contact, which kind of stinks for Peterson. It's a small slate. I think you could potentially take some shots on Peterson and just hope that BABIP runs his way and, he's able to keep the ball in the ballpark with this game being in Washington. So, I mean, Lane Thomas, Senzel, the guys you're really worried about. Vargas, not a lot of power, but going to make a lot of contact. Ramirez has been the same way this year. So, tough matchup for Peterson, but again, it's a 3-game slate. Mackenzie Gore on the other side of this game. I don't love Gore. I'm going to build around Hunter Brown for sure, and then just trying to decide if I want to play Gore or Peterson. I think Mackenzie Gore has a higher ceiling, 26% strikeouts on the season for Mackenzie Gore. Back-to-back starts where he's really struggled. He faced Arizona. He struggled with command in that game. I mean, he was pitching decent in the first 3 innings and then kind of got beat up, got hit really hard in that game. And San Diego beat him up really bad last time out. So tough matchup against the Mets. This lineup has been really good against left-handed pitching this season. JD Martinez, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor. Alvarez has been great against lefties, Vientos. So I am more likely to stack the Mets and play Peterson than I am to stack Washington and play Gore on this slate. So tough matchup for Mackenzie Gore. Like his strikeout ceiling. Again, he's sitting at 26%, but the strikeouts have dipped recently. But if we're looking at like whiff rate and swinging strike rate recent for Mackenzie Gore, he's still like 24.6, 13%, right around his season numbers. His BABIP is 380 over the last 30 days. He's really been getting BABIP really hard. So definitely something to make a note of when looking at Mackenzie Gore. As far as the Mets bats, again, like JD, Alonso, Vientos, Alvarez, Lindor, all these guys have upside against left-handed pitching. So Mets very much in play. They're on the road. And I think, Pete Alonso is the only hitter over 5K. Vientos, 3,500. Alvarez at catcher, 3,800. JD Martinez, 4,500. I always like getting some exposure to Bader if he draws a good lineup spot, but I would really want like Bader to be hitting 6th and Taylor to be hitting 9th for me to get to Bader here. Washington against Peterson, Lane Thomas, Nick Senzel, obviously really good plays. Both of these guys hit left-handed pitching well. Peterson's really low strikeouts definitely help Washington. So, again, single entry, I don't know if I get to these guys, but in a 3-entry max or MMEing, I think that Thomas, Senzel, Vargas, Jacob Young, all very much in play here. CJ Abrams, lefty. Peterson has a low strikeout rate against left-handed hitters, so Abrams is a guy with power. So I don't mind even playing some CJ Abrams in this spot. Finish it out with Coors. Milwaukee at Colorado. In this one, Bryce Wilson, Austin Gomber, 11.5 total. Milwaukee, a 164 favorite. Bryce Wilson, not a great pitcher. It is Coors. It is the Rockies. Can you take a shot on Bryce Wilson today? I think the answer to that question is yes. Do you feel good about it? Nope. So if he can keep the ball in the ballpark, obviously it could potentially help him. I am concerned that like he throws a sinker, not going to sink as much, a cutter, not going to work as much, a curveball. So everything that Bryce Wilson throws is like downward. He doesn't throw. I mean, the cutter is down and sideways, but his pitches are just not going to be as good in Coors. So obviously I worry about that a little bit for Bryce Wilson, but again, it's a 3-game slate. I think that you could potentially take some shots on him. Milwaukee, a team that you definitely can play or play left-handed pitchers against. They're much better against righties, but Austin Gomber is not good. Low strikeouts, a guy that's really struggled pitching in Coors this season, which shouldn't really shock anybody. So overall, not going to play Austin Gomber. He's probably outside of like him and Rodriguez are my two instant like write-offs, not playing either one of Rodriguez or Gomber. So one of them is probably going to score 20. Looking at the Milwaukee bats first, on the road in Coors, Joey Ortiz, right off the bat, absolutely love him today. Everyone knows that I like Ortiz. I'm hoping he's back in the lineup. He was dealing with some like neck soreness and he missed the weekend. So I'm hoping that he's back in the lineup here. If he is, he should hit leadoff. Absolutely love Rhys Hoskins at 4,600 against the lefty. That's a great price tag for him. It'd be interesting to see like who else cracks the lineup here for Milwaukee. They do have some cheap hitters in this lineup potentially against left-handed pitching. So don't mind the Brewers. Obviously, they're a full stack. Their implied total is like 6.4. So they obviously just a team you definitely want to stack here. On the other side of this one, the Rockies, Bryce Wilson's not good. He really struggles against lefties. So Nolan Jones, Ryan McMahon, Charlie Blackmon, all very much in play here. Taglia, is he still cheap? Yeah, I mean, he's still 4,300. I definitely don't mind him. He's been like one of the Rockies bats that's been hitting pretty well here recently. So don't mind him. Obviously, it's Coors. I think that he has a little bit of upside here at 4,300. So definitely prefer lefties against Bryce Wilson, especially because like the righties in this lineup outside of like Tovar aren't great. Brenton Doyle is not bad. Bryce Wilson's a low strikeout guy. Obviously, a lot of interest here in the Rockies in Coors on a 3-game slate. I mean, it's a small slate. Not a lot going on here, but wanted to come on and break this down. I knew it was going to be a pretty short podcast. I'll play the morning grind game just because I think it's fun when you have a 3-game slate like this and I'm solo. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts, I'd say Peterson. Over 8K to bust, Mackenzie Gore. Over 4K to hit a home run, not in Coors. Oh, that one's tough. I would probably say Yordan Alvarez would be my favorite home run outside of Coors today against Rodriguez. Under 4K to get 2 hits, not in Coors. Give me Vientos against Mackenzie Gore. This guy just keeps hitting. I mean, he's just a hitting machine right now. So Vientos, absolutely crushing the ball. This guy is hitting over 300 over the last 10 games, has 5 home runs in the last 10 games, 7 extra base hits. So Vientos crushing the baseball right now. Stack to score 6 or more runs, not in Coors. I really think it's the Mets. I know Mackenzie Gore is a good pitcher, and man, it's really tough to like pick on Mackenzie Gore on a 3-game slate, but I really think the Mets are going to get the job done in this one. So give me the Mets. I didn't want to say Houston or the Coors, so give me the Mets. No player props from what I saw. I'll check again really quick. I haven't looked in like the last 2 hours. I was waiting. See if we got any player props for Monday. We do actually have some player props. So I like Mackenzie Gore under 16.5 outs on this slate. Again, this is a really tough matchup against the Mets. Mackenzie Gore has only pitched more than 5 innings one time in his last 6 starts. So I feel good about this one. It was one that I had written down that I wanted to check in the morning, but it's up now, so might as well check. I'm going to check and see if it's on the Hard Rock because I want in. Oh, it is on the Hard Rock. I'm getting in on this one too, live here. Sometimes I got to wait till the morning. But under 16.5 is good number on the Hard Rock too. So I'm going to take that under 16.5 outs for Mackenzie Gore. As far as like lines, Houston minus 140, I think is a good line. I think Houston beats Toronto today. I think Brown is a much better pitcher than Rodriguez, and Houston's a really good lineup. So it's moved already on most books, but if you want to go Houston minus 140, I think that is the line that I'd be looking at today. Live chat, what's up? It's like 2:40 in the morning on the East Coast. Thanks for hanging out. I hope everyone has a fantastic Monday. If you're listening to this podcast form, you can go on over to YouTube, RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube, and you can watch me break this down using Plate IQ for free. So there you go. 3-game slate. Back tomorrow with Keith. Big slate on Tuesday. Have a great one, everyone. We'll see you then.